That's funny. So where do you live? What area of town do you live in?
I live in Seminole Heights, old Seminole Heights.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know Tampa that well, Seminole Heights is just north of downtown Tampa, literally 5 minutes from downtown Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful there. A lot of historic homes. And
my wife and I live in a 1926 wood frame bungalow, which when we bought the house in 2017, the interior was beautifully renovated. The outside was quasi renovated. So we just finished all the renovations on the outside, put a new siding, impact windows. We have a great yard, great lot, but it's lined by the river. We're not on the river. We're just a few blocks off, but beautiful historic area. It's like the best thing about it is 25, 30 years ago, if you would have told me I was living in Seminole Heights, I would have thought you were crazy because it wasn't the best part of town.
Mm-hmm. There were very few standout places at that time.
Exactly.
In Seminole Heights.
So and then my wife was in Valrico at the time, and then she wanted to move out of Valrico. She didn't need a 3,000 square foot house anymore. Kids were going away, moving out to college. So I introduced her to Seminole Heights, and she absolutely fell in love with it because of the proximity to downtown, proximity to the river, because we do everything on the river, because she paddles as well, both dragon boat and outrigger canoe, which I paddle as well. And it's just a great area. We went to dinner. We walked to dinner 3 times over the past week, different restaurants right at the end of our street. So it's historic, it's beautiful, it's a mishmash of people from all walks of life, and we enjoy it. It's not the suburbs. I always tell that about Seminole Heights. I'm like,
well, it's like one of the first suburbs, though, right? Like
true.
For Tampa, it's because that's where a lot of the neighborhood houses were when they were built in the 20s.
Yep,
that was kind of the next neighborhood, and it just kept pushing.
Exactly.
Kept moving out farther and farther.
But the suburbs, I mean, like it's not like living out in a gated community.
Yeah, right.
So it's
not a master planned
place. And it's not overly manicured. Some houses are more manicured than others. Sometimes it's a little dirty, but that's what people like. They like the fact that it's a real neighborhood, real people live there, and it's walkable. There's distilleries, breweries, great restaurants. A couple of restaurants have been rated by Michelin recently, which is awesome.
What's your favorite restaurant around there?
Oh,
it's hard to pick a favorite. You can give me a couple if you want. I know it's hard for me to pick a favorite of anything.
We just went to this past Saturday. We went to Front Porch, which is at the end of our block. It's this old Victorian house right on Florida and Idlewild, and we sat on the front porch. Great evening to have a dinner outside with some friends. They have Mecantina, if I'm saying that right, the Mexican restaurant just north of there. And then there's a couple classic places like the Bo's Ice Cream Shop. I don't know if you've been there. Have you been there before?
No.
It's right on Florida. Classic soft serve ice cream. The place has been there since the 40s or 50s, and it hasn't changed. You get this giant cone of ice cream, soft serve. It's awesome.
That's cool.
And then just everything south of there. I love going to the Independent. The Independent's just south of Hillsborough Avenue. Craft beers. Place just opened up across the street recently called Common Dialect, another brewery. They brew their own beer there. So it's very Cappy's Pizza, which is right next door. Awesome pizza.
Yeah, it's a ton of. It's like a foodie paradise there.
It is.
Now, it's been that way for a few years, but there's all kinds of awesome places that are down there that you can go find.
Oh, a buddy of mine, he lived on the same block as the Independent years ago. And I remember hang out with him at his house. We'd walk to the Independent, probably have a couple more than we should have, but we'd walk back. We never drove, and that was the best part about it. Yeah. Because it was right there, and it's just an awesome place to.
Yeah, that's much different than the outskirts. Not even outskirts, the suburbs, Valrico, Lithia, New Tampa, Tampa Palms. You got a bunch of cool places around there, but you're definitely not walking to them. It's just true. Everything's too far apart. You got to have the car. That's all. That's good and bad. Because you don't have to deal. You can move yourself around, but what's that create? Traffic.
Exactly.
You got to deal with traffic. But you got kids, you got families, you got schools and everything. Tampa has always been you've got to pick where you're going to be, I think, because you're not going to traverse the city on a regular basis. You know, if you live in town and country, then you probably work close. Your kids are probably going to be pretty close. You don't have to make it from town and country to Temple Terrace.
Yeah.
Because there's really no easy way to get from town and country to Temple Terrace.
No.
You know, it's not easy to do that. So it's tough for people coming here to understand, where am I going to plant? You know, where am I going to be? And